The chain link rattled like a death knell as the squad car's lights sliced through the twilight, bathing my half-built fence in crimson and blue. "Kenneth Hale, step away from the property line," the officer barked, his hand hovering over his holster, while across the yard, Evelyn Hargrove, our neighborhood's self-appointed queen, pointed a manicured finger at me like I was the devil incarnate. In that frozen heartbeat, as the world narrowed to her venomous glare and the distant echo of Lucas's unanswered texts burning in my pocket, I realized sealing her out wouldn't just protect my land. It might shatter everything I'd fought to call home. I never thought a 6-foot cedar fence would be the line in the sand that redrew my entire life. But there I was, sweat-soaked under the relentless July sun of Willow Creek, Ohio, a sleepy suburb outside Cleveland where picket fences hid more skeletons than they propped up American dreams, hammering the last post into place. The wood smelled sharp and new, a promise of boundaries in a place that had chewed me up and spat me out one too many times. Lucas had texted me that morning. "Can't wait to see it. Our fortress. Love you." Simple words, but they anchored me, pulling me through the ache in my shoulders and the knot in my gut. Willow Creek wasn't the kind of town that rolled out the welcome mat for guys like us. I'd bought the bungalow 5 years ago, right after my folks passed in that freak car wreck on I-71, leaving me the house and a trust fund fat enough to quit my dead-end IT gig in the city. At 28, I figured it was time to plant roots, to build something solid. Then Lucas wandered into my life at a dive bar in Akron, all easy smiles and calloused hands from his construction work, his laugh cutting through the haze like sunlight. He was 32, broad-shouldered with that effortless Midwestern charm, faded jeans, a flannel that hugged his chest just right, and eyes the color of Lake Erie on a calm day. We didn't plan it. It just happened. Coffee turned to late nights tangled in sheets, whispers turning to promises. 2 years in, and he'd all but moved in, his tool belt slung over the porch rail like it belonged there. But Evelyn Hargrove? She was the thorn in our side, the HOA president who patrolled these streets like a hawk eyeing roadkill. 50-something, peroxide blonde, with a voice that could curdle milk and a husband who trailed her like a whipped dog. She'd cornered me at the block party last summer, her martini glass sweating in her grip. "Kenneth, dear, we all love a man who takes pride in his home. But that friend of yours parking his truck in the driveway? It sends the wrong message to the children." Her eyes had flicked to Lucas across the lawn, where he was flipping burgers with the neighbor's kids, and I'd felt my blood turn to ice. I smiled through it, tight-lipped, and changed the subject to her prize-winning hydrangeas. But her words festered, a slow poison seeping into every backyard barbecue, every wave from a minivan. The fence was my rebellion. Not just against her petty rules, no. The HOA bylaws were vague on aesthetic barriers, but I dotted every I, gotten the permits. It was for us. Privacy. A yard where Lucas and I could steal kisses without prying eyes, grill steaks without whispers rippling like wildfire. I'd saved for months, sketched the plans myself on graph paper late at night while he snored beside me. "It's gonna be perfect," he'd murmured one evening, his fingers tracing the lines of my drawing, then trailing up my arm. "You, me, and no one else's bullshit." That afternoon, as the final slat clicked into place, sealing off the world, I stepped back and exhaled. The cedar gleamed, tall and unyielding, framing our little slice of green like a hug from the earth. I wiped my brow, pulled out my phone to snap a pic for Lucas. He was on a job site in Medina, wouldn't be home till dusk, And that's when I heard it. The screech of tires on asphalt. The slam of a car door. What in God's name do you think you're doing? Kenneth Hale? Evelyn stormed across the invisible line, her floral muumuu billowing like a sails in a squall, clipboard clutched like a shield. Her face was flushed, lips pursed into that signature lemon suck. Behind her, a cluster of neighbors peeked from behind curtains. Mrs. Patel from next door, old Mr. Jenkins pretending to water his tomatoes. This is a violation, a blatant disregard for community standards. That fence is an eyesore. It's blocking my view of the cul-de-sac. I straightened, hammer still dangling from my hand. Evelyn, it's all permitted. City approved it last week. 6 feet, solid cedar, no spikes. Check the docs if you want. I nodded toward the stack of papers on the porch steps, but she wasn't listening. Her eyes darted past me, to the Adirondack chairs we'd set up inside the gate. The string lights Lucas had hung last weekend twinkling faintly in the shade. This isn't about permits, Kenneth. It's about decency. Hiding away like you're ashamed, or worse, like you've got something to conceal. Her voice dropped, laced with that false sweetness she reserved for her crusades. We all saw that man's truck here again last night. Lucas, isn't it? The one with the tattoos and the lifestyle. If you're trying to turn this into some kind of den of iniquity, well, the neighborhood won't stand for it. The words landed like punches, each one echoing the taunts I'd buried from high school lockers and family dinners. I felt heat rise in my cheeks. Not just anger, but that old shame twisting like a knife. It's my property, Evelyn. My life. If you don't like the fence, plant a tree on your side. But stay the hell off mine, she gasped, theatrical as a soap opera villain, and yanked her phone from her purse. Oh, we'll see about that. I'm calling the authorities right now. This is harassment, endangering public safety. Her fingers flew over the screen, and I stood there, frozen, as she launched into a tirade for the dispatcher. Yes? Hello? There's a man on my street building an illegal structure. It's aggressive. It's threatening. He just told me to, yes, send someone immediately. By the time the cruiser pulled up 20 minutes later, the sun had dipped low, painting the sky in bruised purples. Officer Ramirez, a stocky guy with a mustache that screamed 90s cop show, eyed the fence, then me, then Evelyn's fluttering indignation. Ma'am, this about a fence. He took my permits, scanned them with a nod. Looks square to me. No crime here, but Evelyn wasn't done. It's not just the fence, it's him. He's been influencing the neighborhood, turning good Christian homes into, ma'am, Ramirez cut in, voice flat. Unless there's assault or vandalism, this is a civil matter. Take it to small claims. He tipped his hat to me, almost apologetic, and climbed back into his car. As the lights faded down the block, Evelyn whirled on me, eyes blazing. This isn't over, Kenneth. People like you don't belong here. And that fence? It'll come down, one way or another. I slammed the gate shut behind her retreating form, the latch clicking with finality. My hands shook as I texted Lucas. Fence is up. Drama with Evelyn. Cops came. Miss you. His reply buzzed almost instantly. On my way. Hang tight, babe. We're good. That night, we celebrated in whispers. Lucas arrived with pizza from Gino's, grease spots blooming on the box like abstract art. We ate cross-legged on the grass, the fence casting long shadows that felt like arms around us. To fortresses. He toasted with a plastic cup of cheap Merlot, clinking mine. His knee brushed mine, warm and steady, and for a moment, the world shrank to just us, the crickets chirping, the faint hum of the highway in the distance. We made love under the stars later, slow and tender, his breath hot against my neck as he murmured my name like a prayer. I love you, Ken. This is ours. Afterward, curled against his chest, listening to his heartbeat sync with mine, I almost believed it. Almost. But dawn brought the first crack. A note slipped under the gate, typed and anonymous. Tear it down, or we'll make you. No signature, but I knew. Evelyn's war had begun, and in Willow Creek, wars weren't fought with fists, they were waged with whispers, with votes at HOA meetings, with the slow erosion of everything you held dear. Little did I know, the real betrayal was brewing closer to home, in the one place I'd thought was unbreakable. The days blurred into a tense rhythm after the fence went up, like living with a storm cloud perpetually overhead. Lucas threw himself into work, framing houses in the sprawling developments creeping toward the Cuyahoga Valley, coming home bone-tired but always with that grin, pulling me into hugs that smelled of sawdust and sweat. Fence looks badass, Ken. Like we could hold off a zombie apocalypse. I'd laugh, but it was forced. The note from that morning still crumpled in my pocket like a guilty secret. I didn't tell him about it at first. Didn't want to dim the light in his eyes. The way he talked about our future, maybe adopting a dog, or hell, even a kid someday if the stars aligned. Instead, I buried myself in the yard, planting hostas along the base of the fence, their broad leaves a green shield against prying eyes. Willow Creek's summer hummed around us. Kids on bikes zipping down Elm Street, the distant crack of a baseball from the rec league field, the sizzle of barbecues on Sundays. But Evelyn's presence loomed, a specter in her cherry-red Prius, circling the block like a shark. She struck first at the HOA meeting, held in the community center's stuffy basement, a linoleum-floored tomb lit by flickering fluorescence. I'd gone alone. Lucas had a late pour, concrete setting under floodlights. About 30 neighbors crammed into folding chairs, fanning themselves with agendas, the air thick with coffee and quiet judgments. Evelyn presided from a podium draped in a star-spangled banner, her smile as sharp as broken glass. Item 3, Neighborhood Aesthetics, she announced, her voice echoing off cinderblock walls. A projector hummed to life, splashing an image of my fence across the screen, taken at an unflattering angle, shadows making it look hulking and menacing. Gasps rippled through the room. As you can see, Mr. Hale's recent addition violates spirit if not letter of our covenants. It obstructs sightlines, fosters isolation, and, frankly, harbors unsavory elements. My stomach dropped. Unsavory. The word hung there, heavy with implication. Mrs. Patel shifted uncomfortably beside me. Mr. Jenkins cleared his throat. I raised my hand, voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. Evelyn, the city signed off. It's my right. And if unsavory means my partner living with me, then yeah, guilty. But that's not up for vote. Murmurs swelled, some sympathetic, others edged with unease. Tom Riley, The burly mechanic from down the street who'd shared beers with Lucas over engine talk spoke up. "Come on. Ken's a good guy. Fence ain't hurting nobody." A few nods. But Evelyn leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "This is about community, Tom. About preserving what makes Willow Creek special. Not letting personal indulgences tear at the fabric." She let the pause linger, her gaze sweeping the room like a spotlight. "All in favor of a formal complaint to the board?" Hands rose, 8, 9. A slow poison of eyes. Mine stayed down, along with Tom's and a handful others. The motion passed, 15-7. Evelyn's triumph was a scalpel smile. "We'll escalate if needed. For the good of all." I slipped out early, the summer night air a slap of humidity as I walked home, fireflies winking like conspirators. The fence greeted me like an old friend, solid and silent. Inside, Lucas was sprawled on the couch, boots kicked off, a baseball game droning on the TV. He looked up, concern etching his brow. "How'd it go?" I sank beside him, head on his shoulder. "They voted to fight it. She's gunning for us, Luke. Not just the fence, the whole damn thing." His arm tightened around me, strong and sure. "Let him try. We've got rights, babe. And we've got each other." He kissed my temple, soft and lingering, and for a while, we lost ourselves in the game, in the press of his body against mine, the world outside fading to irrelevance. But the cracks spiderwebbed. The next week, my tires were slashed, 3 neat X's on the driver's side, glinting under the street lamp like accusations. No note this time, but Evelyn's Prius idled at the stop sign as I knelt in the gutter, calling the non-emergency line. Ramirez showed again, shaking his head. "Kids, probably. Or busybodies. Get a camera, mister." Hale. Lucas insisted on staying over every night after that, his truck a hulking sentinel in the drive. We turned it into a game, fortifying our space with motion lights, a Ring doorbell that chimed like a watchdog. Mornings, he'd brew coffee strong as tar, handing me a mug with a wink. To another day in paradise. We'd linger at the kitchen table, feet tangled under it, talking dreams, him wanting to start his own crew, me eyeing a graphic design side hustle from the home office I'd carve out of the spare room. One evening, as thunder rumbled over the valley, we sat on the porch swing, the one I'd hung from the oak out front, before the fence made the backyard our sanctuary. Rain pattered on the awning, and Lucas pulled me close, his fingers weaving through mine. "Remember that first date? You spilled marinara on your shirt at that Italian joint, tried to hide it with a napkin. Thought you were the cutest disaster I'd ever met." I chuckled, the memory warming me against the chill. "You paid the bill and didn't even blink when I came out to you in the parking lot. Just said, 'Cool. Pass the mints.' Because it was cool. You were cool." His voice softened, thumb brushing my knuckles. "I know this town's testing us, Ken. But we're tougher. Like that fence rooted deep." We kissed then, slow and deep, the rain a curtain around us. It wasn't passion's fire, but something quieter, more profound, a reaffirmation. Inside, we cooked pasta, argued over the playlist, his classic rock verses, my indie folk, and fell into bed with the window cracked, letting the storm's lullaby rock us to sleep. The betrayal came on a Tuesday, unannounced and gut-wrenching. I got home from running errands. Groceries for a quiet anniversary dinner. 2 years since that bar in Akron. To find Lucas's truck gone early. The house too still. His note on the counter was scrawled in haste. Had to run to site. Love you. Check the mail. Smiling, I flipped through the stack. Bills. Junk. Then a crisp envelope from the HOA. Stamped urgent. Inside, a summons for a hearing. But clipped to it was something else, a photo. Grainy but unmistakable. Me and Lucas on the porch swing. Locked in that kiss. The rain blurring the edges. Timestamped last night. And on the back, in Evelyn's looping script, immoral conduct on public property. Rescind the fence, or this goes to the paper. And your families. My knees buckled. Families. My parents were gone, but Lucas's, staunch Catholics in Toledo, who'd cut him off years ago but still sent guilt-laced Christmas cards. How had she gotten this, and why was it in our mail? The front door creaked open then. Lucas bursting in with a bouquet of wildflowers from the roadside stand, his face lighting up. Surprise early bird, figured we'd. He stopped, seeing my face, the photo trembling in my hand. Ken, what's wrong? I thrust it at him, voice cracking. She spied on us. Took this. This war now. Luke. Real war. He scanned it, jaw tightening, then crushed the flowers in his fist, petals scattering like blood. That bitch. I'll confront her. No. I grabbed his arm, pulling him close. We fight smart. Together. But as we held each other that night, the photo burning a hole in the trash, I couldn't shake the feeling that the real fracture wasn't the fence. It was the trust we'd assumed was ironclad. And in the shadows of Willow Creek, trust was the first casualty. The photo ignited everything, turning our quiet defiance into a bonfire of desperation. Lucas wanted to storm Evelyn's colonial across the street, her house with the pristine lawn and the Blue Lives Matter flag snapping in the breeze. But I talked him down, our voices echoing in the kitchen as the clock ticked past midnight. She's baiting us, Luke. One wrong move, and it's assault charges. Or worse, they use it against the fence in court. He paced, fists clenched, the wildflower's remnants crunching under his boots. Then what? We let her parade us like freaks? That pic. It's violation, Ken. Our moment, twisted into ammo. His eyes, usually so steady, flickered with something raw, anger, yes, but laced with fear. I'd seen it before, in the way he'd tense when his mom called, her Bible verses a subtext for fix yourself. We document, I said, forcing calm. Cameras everywhere. We go public if we have to. Local news loves a good David versus Goliath. I pulled him to the table, our hands linking across the scarred oak. And we talked to Tom. He's on the board. Maybe he can sway votes. By morning, we'd rigged the yard like a low-budget spy thriller. Floodlights on timers. A dash cam angled at the gate. Lucas kissed me goodbye. Fierce, lingering before heading to work. His truck rumbling off like a war drum. I called Tom Riley, who grumbled but agreed to meet at the diner on Route 8. Home of the world's greasiest hash browns. Tom slid into the booth across from me, his grease-stained polo reeking of motor oil. Heard about the photo. Evelyn's lost her damn mind. He stirred sugar into his coffee. 3 heaping spoons. Board split, half think she's a bully, half scared of change. Your fence is a symbol now, Ken. Well, you know, progress. Progress, I echoed, the word bitter on my tongue. Or target practice. I slid the summons across the formica. Hearings in 2 weeks. Can you help? He nodded. Slow. I'll rally the holdouts. But watch your back. Evelyn's got allies, church ladies, that realtor prick who flips houses here. They're whispering about protecting property values. His eyes met mine, kind but weary. You and Lucas. You two are good for this place. Don't let 'em run you off. The words stuck with me as I drove home, past the strip malls and the rusting steel mills that dotted Cleveland's edge. Willow Creek was America distilled. Hard hats and heartland pride. But under it, veins of prejudice ran deep, fed by factory closures and opioid whispers. I'd chosen it for the quiet, the affordability, the dream of normalcy. But normal for us meant navigating minefields. That afternoon, the mine detonated. A call from an unknown number, Ramirez. Mr. Hale, got a report of trespassing at your address. Your partner's truck was spotted prowling near Hargrove's residence. My blood ran cold. Lucas, prowling? He pulled up minutes later, face ashen, Ramirez trailing in his cruiser. I didn't do shit, Lucas exploded as we huddled on the porch, the officer taking statements. Drove by after work to check the mail, saw her Prius, kept going. Next thing, she's on the line screaming I'm stalking her. Ramirez sighed, notepad flipping. No evidence, but she's pushing for a restraining order. Claims harassment tied to the fence dispute. I'll file it as unfounded, but cool it, all right? Tensions are high. High. Understatement of the century. As the cruiser faded, Lucas sagged against the rail, head in hands. This is my fault, Ken. Should have kept driving straight home. Now they think I'm some thug. I wrapped my arms around him, feeling the tremor in his frame. It's hers. All of it. We're victims here. But doubt not had he slowed down. Just a glance? No. I trusted him. Still, the seed was planted. We retaliated with kindness. A Hail Mary. Invited neighbors for a fence warming. BYOB. Burgers on the new grill. Tom came, with his wife and their lab mix. Milo, who bounded through the gate like he'd claimed it. A few others trickled in, the Patels, young with a toddler. Single mom Carla from the corner, nursing a soda and venting about her ex. Even Mr. Jenkins, shuffling with his cane, muttering about damn HOA fees. Lucas manned the grill, flipping patties with flair, his laugh drawing people in. Who's ready for the Hale special? Extra cheese. Hold the drama. I circulated, refilling cups, sharing stories, the time Lucas fixed the Patel's AC for free, or how we'd planted community tomatoes last spring. For 2 hours, it worked. Laughter over the fence, Milo chasing fireflies, the sunset gilding everything gold. Then Evelyn arrived. Not invited, but uninvited guests gonna guest. She parked at the curb, clipboard in hand, flanked by 2 women from her prayer circle, pearl clutches and pinched lips. This little soiree, she called over the fence, voice slicing the chatter. Is it licensed? Open containers in a contested zone? I could shut this down right now. The yard went still, burgers sizzling forgotten. Lucas stepped forward, tongs like a scepter. Evelyn, this private property. Inside my gate. You're welcome to leave. Her laugh was glass shards. Private? With that monstrosity blocking views? And this display. Her eyes raked over us. Me beside Lucas, our shoulders brushing. Parading your choices in front of families. Shameful, Carla snorted. Lady, it's a barbecue. Not a sermon. Tom nodded, crossing his arms. Murmurs built, a tide turning. Evelyn faltered, then straightened. You'll regret this. All of you. She spun on her heel, her entourage trailing, the Prius peeling out like a bad exit. The party limped on, but the joy had curdled. As guests filtered out, Lucas and I cleaned in silence, the grill's coals glowing like embers of resolve. We showed him, he said finally, scraping char. We're not hiding. In bed later, his body spooned mine. I whispered, I know, but sleep evaded, Evelyn's choices echoing. Choice. As if loving him was a whim, not the truest thing I'd ever known. The hearing loomed like a guillotine. We prepped meticulously, lawyer on retainer, a no-nonsense queer advocate from Cleveland. Affidavits from Tom and Carla. But 2 nights before, another blow, Lucas's phone rang at 2 a.m. His mother, voice quavering over the line. Lucas? Evelyn Hargrove called. Sent pictures. Said you're corrupting that town. Come home, son. Before it's too late. He hung up, staring at the wall, tears carving tracks down his face. I held him as he broke, sobs muffled in my chest. She weaponized family, Ken. My own blood. In that moment, betrayal's face wasn't Evelyn's. It was the fracture lines in our world, widening with every lie. And as dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, I wondered if our fortress could withstand the siege. The hearing was a circus in khakis, staged in the county courthouse's oak-paneled chamber, a relic from Willow Creek's steel boom days, now echoing with the ghosts of disputes over zoning and zoning out. Lucas and I arrived early, suits pressed, his navy, mine charcoal, hands clasped tight in the hallway as the lawyer, Dana Ruiz, briefed us one last time. Stick to facts, she said, her bob haircut sharp as her wit. Evelyn's got bluster, but no case. The photo, invasion of privacy goldmine. We nodded, but my pulse thrummed like a bass line. Lucas squeezed my fingers. We've got this. His eyes held mine, a lifeline in the fluorescent glare. Inside, the room buzzed. Neighbors packed the benches. Evelyn front and center in a power blazer. Her lawyer a slick weasel from Akron. The judge, a silver-haired woman named Harlan with crow's feet that spoke of fairness, called order. Evelyn's side went first, testimony laced with hyperbole, the fence as a Berlin Wall of intolerance, the photo as documented moral decay, her witness, the realtor prick, droned about plummeting values, 2% drop already, buyers fleeing the uncertainty. I bit my tongue as Lucas shifted beside me, jaw set. When our turn came, Dana dismantled it, permit stamped, no violations, the photo submitted as Exhibit A for harassment. Tom testified, voice gravelly, Evelyn's bullying good folks. Ken and Lucas, salt of the earth. Carla followed, fiery, this town's better with them. Fence or no? Then Lucas. He stood tall, voice steady as he faced the room. Your Honor, this isn't about wood and nails. It's about living free. Me and Ken, we built that fence for peace. After years of sideways looks and whispers. Evelyn's crusade? It's hate dressed as bylaws. He paused, glancing at me, love raw in his gaze. I won't apologize for who we are. The room held its breath. Even Evelyn fidgeted. Judge Harlan adjourned for deliberation, her gavel a punctuation mark. Outside, reporters from the Plain Dealer milled. Our preemptive tip to a sympathetic blogger had snowballed. Local couple fights HOA tyranny. One headline teased online already. We waited in a coffee shop down the block, Lucas's knee bouncing under the table. Think we nailed it? He asked, stirring creamer into black drip. Yeah, covered his hand. Proud of you. The call came at 4 p.m., ruling in our favor. Fence stands. Evelyn's complaint dismissed, with a stern warning on privacy violations. Cheers erupted when we got home. Tom and Carla on the porch with beers, Milo barking joy. Lucas hooped, lifting me in a spin, our laughter mingling with the dusk chorus. But victory tasted bittersweet. That night, as we collapsed on the couch, takeout tie scattering boxes, Evelyn's Prius idled across the street. No confrontation, just watching, predator's patience. She's not done, I murmured, head on Lucas's lap. He stroked my hair. Doesn't matter. We won. We celebrated quietly. A drive to the lake at midnight, windows down, Springsteen blasting Thunder Road. Parked on a gravel pull-off, we walked the shore, Erie lapping black and endless. Lucas pulled a ring from his pocket, simple silver, etched with our initials. Not proposing, not yet. But promise. Whatever comes. Tears pricked. I slid it on, our hands linking like puzzle pieces. We made love in the truck bed, blankets cocooning us, the stars witnesses to vows unspoken. Forever, he whispered, breath ghosting my skin. The backlash hit like whiplash. Anonymous emails flooded my inbox. Faggots ruining the neighborhood. Move. Spray paint on the fence overnight. Sinner in dripping red. Lucas found a brick through the mailbox. Shards of metal scattering bills like confetti from hell. Ramirez upped patrols, but the damage seeped in, sleep fractured, touches tentative, as if expecting blows. Worse, the town divided. Boycotts at the diner, our usual booth empty. Church flyers in every drive. Protect our children from perversion. Evelyn, censured by the board, doubled down, rallying a Citizens for Traditional Values petition. Signatures mounted. Our allies dwindled. Then the knife twist, Lucas's job. His foreman called a gruff guy named Hank we'd barbecued with. Sites heating up. Luke. Clients complaining, say the crew's distracted by your personal life in the news. Might need to sit this one out. Lucas hung up, phone cracking against the counter. Fired. Because of us. He sank to the floor, back to cabinets, face crumpling. I knelt, pulling him close. It's temporary. We'll fight, unemployment, lawyers. No, his voice broke. It's poison, Ken. Everywhere we turn, for the first time, doubt shadowed his eyes. Not in us, but in the fight. Maybe we sell. Start over somewhere they don't know our names. The words hollowed me. Sell? Our home. The fence. The life we'd clawed? Running feels like losing. He cupped my face, thumb tracing my lip. Surviving isn't losing. Loving you, that's winning. We clung that night, bodies entwined against the chill, but sleep was a stranger. Dawn brought resolve. Applications scattered like leaves, Seattle, Austin, places with rainbows in their flags. But my heart anchored here, to the soil of my parents' graves. The swings creak. The climax brewed on a Friday, fog thick as regret. I came home to Lucas on the porch, phone to ear, voice low and urgent. Ma, can't, yes, I know what the Bible says, but he saw me, hung up, expression shattered. She disowned me. For good. Evelyn sent the article to the whole family group chat. Rage boiled. I grabbed my keys. I'm ending this. Ken. No. But I was gone. Storming across the street to Evelyn's. Pounding the door till it flew open. She stood there, smug in her robe. Trouble in paradise? You destroyed his family, I snarled. For what? Your fragile ego. Her smile faltered, then hardened. I protected this community. From you. We argued in the foyer, voices rising. Her husband's shadow hovering uselessly. Admit it, I pressed. It's not the fence. It's us. Two men loving each other. She recoiled. It's sin. Plain and simple. I laughed. Bitter. Sin's the hate you peddle. We're human, Evelyn. Flawed, but fighting for light. She slammed the door. I walked back, chest heaving. Lucas waited, arms open. Foolish, but brave. In the quiet after, we talked till stars wheeled, dreams deferred, fears laid bare. Wherever we go, he said, ring glinting, we go together. But as sirens wailed distant, another false alarm, perhaps, I felt the tide turning, not toward peace, but the storm's eye. Betrayal's deepest cut wasn't Evelyn's. It was the mirror, reflecting how far we'd come, and how much further we might fall. The petition hit like a sucker punch. 200 signatures strong by week's end, plastered on every lamppost from the rec center to the VFW hall. Preserve Willow Creek. No to fences. No to deviance. Evelyn's masterpiece, inked with church pens and fueled by fear. Our allies circled wagons. Tom organizing a counter-rally at the park. Carla starting a GoFundMe for Lucas's lost wages. But the exodus began. Mrs. Patel sold her house overnight, citing stress. Mr. Jenkins stopped waving, his eyes averted. Lucas threw himself into job hunts, his resume a litany of skills. Framing, drywall, heart. Rejections piled like autumn leaves. Cultural fit issues. One email read, code for not one of us. Nights, he'd pace the kitchen, beer in hand, while I sketched logos on my laptop, freelance gigs trickling in like rain in drought. We'll bounce, I'd say, pulling him to the couch, our bodies fitting like worn grooves. But the touches grew desperate, less comfort than clinging. The real unraveling came from within. A letter arrived, forwarded from Toledo, Lucas's sister, Mia, the baby of the family he'd shielded from their parents' frost. Lucas, Mom's heartbroken. The pictures. It's ugly. But I miss you. And the kids ask for Uncle Luke. Call? He read it aloud, voice cracking, then crumpled it. Too late. They chose. Not all, I countered. Mia's reaching out. He shook his head, eyes distant. Reaching to fix me. Not us. We drove to Toledo that Sunday, unannounced, a Hail Mary wrapped in hope. The house was a split-level time capsule, faded wallpaper, crucifix over the mantel. Mia answered, toddler on hip, hugging Lucas fierce. You idiot. Come in. His mom hovered in the kitchen, apron tied, eyes red-rimmed. No hello, just a stiff sit, coffee steamed, awkward as the silence. We saw the news, she finally said, hands twisting a dish rag. That woman, she called, said you're in trouble. Living that way. Lucas leaned forward. Ma, it's not trouble. It's love. Ken's my home. She flinched at my name, gaze flicking to me like I was a stain. The Bible isn't the whole story, Mia interjected, setting plates of pie. Sis, they're happy. Let 'em be. The talk stretched, tears, scripture, stories. Lucas shared our wins, the fence ruling, the barbecue bonds. I spoke soft, of losing my folks, finding family in him. His mom softened, fractionally, a hand on his, a nod. I prayed for guidance, no apology, but a crack in the ice. Driving back, Lucas exhaled like surfacing. Not fixed, but started. I grinned, hand on his thigh. Progress. Willow Creek, though, regressed. Vandalism escalated. Eggs on the truck, queer keyed into the fence slats. We buffed and painted, but each scar lingered. Then the betrayal, no, the betrayal. I came home early from a client meet in Cleveland. The house empty, Lucas's truck gone. A text, errands. Home soon. Wandering the yard, I noticed the gate ajar, odd, since we double-checked locks. Pushing through, I froze. Footprints in the mulch, fresh, leading to the back corner. And there, half buried under hostas, a burner phone, screen cracked, buzzing with a missed call. Heart hammering, powered it on. Texts flooded. Meeting tonight? Need to talk strategy. From H. Then replies Lucas's number. Can't. Too risky. But earlier heard about the petition. Count me in? Discreetly. My world tilted. No. Impossible. I scrolled. Nausea rising. If I help push the sale, what's in it for me? Steady work on my sites, off books. Dates matched his errands. Late nights I chalked up to networking. The front door clicked. Lucas breezed in, grocery bags rustling. Hey, babe, got that wine you like? He stopped, seeing my face, the phone dangling like evidence. Explain, voice flat, but shattering inside. He dropped the bags, apples rolling. Ken, it's not. Evelyn, you, helping her, tears hot, betrayal of vice. All this time, while she torments us, he reached, but I recoiled. It was before the hearing. She cornered me at the site, offered bribes for dirt on the fence. I played along, got her to slip texts for proof, to bury her later. Lies. I thrust the phone. This? Push the sale? That's now. His face drained. God, I wanted out. The pressure, job, family, her threats. Thought if we sold quick, clean break. But I couldn't. I deleted most. Kept this to confront her. Confront. Laughter choked. You broke us, Luke. For what? Peace. He sank to knees, grabbing my shirt. I love you. Screwed up. Yeah, scared. Stupid. But never stopped fighting for us. I wrenched free, storming inside, door slamming like finality. Curled on the bed, sobs racking, the ring heavy on my finger. Betrayal sting. Not the act, but the hidden fracture. How long had doubt festered in him? He banged, pleaded through the wood. Ken, please. We're stronger than this. Hours passed. Dawn grayed the blinds. I emerged, hollow. Truth. All of it. We talked till noon, raw, ugly. His confessions. Temptations to fold. Whispers of easier paths. My rage. The isolation. The lies eroding trust. I can't unsee it, I admitted. But I can't unlove you. Forgiveness? Tentative bridge. We agreed. Confront Evelyn together. Expose the texts. End the siege. But as we hugged, fragile, I felt the scar, deep, aching. That afternoon, sirens again, not false. Ramirez at the door, shooting. Across the street, Evelyn's husband, gun in hand, her body slumped in the foyer. Self-defense, he claimed, her rage exploding after our argument. Gun pulled in fury. Chaos. Ambulances wailing, neighbors gawking. In the aftermath, Willow Creek fractured. Petition burned in the park bonfire Tom lit. Allies surged. But for us, the real climax, Lucas and I, in the quiet yard, fence standing sentinel. I almost lost you, he whispered, ring glinting as he held my hand. Almost, I leaned in, kiss salt-tanged. But we're here, yet doubt lingered, a shadow on our sun. Could love mend what fear had torn? Evelyn's death rippled through Willow Creek like a stone in still water, distorting everything it touched. The papers called it a tragic domestic altercation, but whispers painted it gothic, her unraveling under the weight of her crusades, the gun a final, desperate grasp at control. Her husband, shell-shocked in handcuffs then released, sold the Colonial within weeks, sign sold, moving van groaning away under gray November skies. The neighborhood exhaled, tentative, as if exhuming a buried grudge. For us, it was catharsis laced with guilt. Lucas and I attended the sparse memorial, rain-slicked cemetery on the edge of town, umbrellas blooming like black flowers. No speeches, just a pastor's murmur over the casket, Evelyn's peroxide legacy wilting under mud. She fought for what she believed, he intoned, and Lucas squeezed my hand, a silent even if wrong. Back home, the fence stood unmarred now, hostas dormant but promising spring. The vandalism ceased. The petition's ashes fertilized the park's rose beds, a quiet rebellion. Tom's counter-rally morphed into a community forum, diversity workshops, rainbow flags fluttering beside the flagpole. Carla's GoFundMe swelled, landing Lucas a gig with a progressive builder in Akron. Sustainable homes, crew as mixed as Lake Erie's moods. But healing, that was slower, a stitch-by-stitch mend. The burner phone's texts became our confessional, dissected over late-night teas. I was drowning, Lucas admitted one evening, fire crackling in the pit we dug beyond the gate. Thought selling would save us pain. Didn't see it was the blade. I nodded, flames dancing in his eyes. And I armored up, trusted the fence more than us. We both hid. Therapy followed, joint sessions with a counselor in Cleveland, her office a haven of plants and soft lamps. We unpacked. His family fractures, my orphan's ache, the town's mirror to our insecurities. Love isn't a fortress, she said. It's the bridge over the moat. Progress came in layers. Christmas brought Mia and the kids, chaos of wrapping paper and gingerbread, Lucas hoisting his niece on shoulders, her giggles a bomb. His mom sent a card, praying for peace. Doors ajar. Not absolution, but aperture. Spring thawed us fully. I landed a steady design contract, our spare room blooming with screens and sketches. Lucas's crew framed a tiny home for a queer couple fleeing rural Indiana. Irony not lost, as he texted pics, building dreams like ours. The yard transformed, vegetable patch bursting, string lights a constellation. One May evening, burgers on the grill again, this time, the whole block. No gate barred, the fence a backdrop, not barrier. Tom toasted. To neighbors, not walls. Laughter flowed. Milo underfoot. Stars pricking the velvet sky. After, Lucas and I swung on the porch, rebuilt stronger, chains oiled. Remember the hook? He murmured, arm around me. That first night, cops and chaos. I smiled, head on his shoulder. Yeah. Thought it was the end. Was the beginning. His fingers traced the ring, now matched on his hand. Vows exchanged in a quiet ceremony at the lake. Mia officiating, waves our chorus. Marry me proper? Vows. Cake. The works. Heart full. I kissed him, deep, unhurried, the world vast and kind. Yes. All in. Years folded forward. Willow Creek evolved. Pride flags on half the porches. HOA bylaws rewritten under Tom's gavel. No aesthetics clauses, just equity. We adopted Milo after Jenkins passed. His wag's a daily joy. Lucas's business grew, hail and frame. Logo my design. A stylized fence embracing two silhouettes. Betrayal scar faded to silver. A reminder. Love weathers storms, but demands tending. On our 5th anniversary, we walked the fence line, hands linked, sunset gilding the cedar. Sealed her out, Lucas said, echoing the old clickbait tale that started it all. But let the world in. I leaned in, breath mingling. Our world, built to last. In America's heartland, amid rust and renewal, we stood flawed, fierce, forever. Not a fairy tale, but human, messy, profound, sealed not in wood, but in the quiet choice to stay, to love, to bridge. And in that, we found home, not in walls, but in each other.